to deliver financial education. Um, our major challenge here was once we trained our microfinance officers to deliver trainings, uh, once they got into training, their credit portfolio started to suffer. And if they focus on the credit portfolio, they could not focus on the training. So that was not a scalable or a sustainable model to work on. Then the next model that we tried was hiring independent trainers. Now there's a big issue in identification of people who could be trainers to do financial education, who actually understand financial education themselves and then can go and impart financial education. But then there's a big question of how to retain these people over time. That's one question, the delivery mechanism. The second question is about, perhaps in India, this is an issue, about how do you actually deal with illiterate women? Because no matter how pictorial training manuals you can have, financial education actually becomes complicated for women, especially if you go into teaching them how to cost their product. It's not about just making budgets and cash flows or educating them on saving, but if you go and actually educate them on costing your product, it becomes complicated. So it's not very easy to deal with women, even if you have got pictorial training modules. And the last question is, sorry about so many questions.
Okay, I think we have to hold with those two. Is that okay?
Just a small last question is, how do you motivate or market your program? Because people generally come to microfinance institutions for credit, and the moment you talk about training, though we know that they need training and the solution is training, but they are not ready to listen to it. So how do you motivate, how do you market your program? Thank you.
3 good questions, but maybe not easy to answer quickly, but maybe Valerie, do you want to at least tackle one of those questions? Maybe about the delivery mechanism.
Actually, more than questions, I think it was really experiences from from the field, right? So the delivery of the training, for sure, it's an issue. In our program, we are testing, so there is nothing crystal clear, and we're trying to see if it's possible to work with existing staff, and if it's if it's workable for the MFI. For the time being, we know that it's a challenge, and that it takes time for the existing staff to deliver the training, but also, as you said, it's not their primary expertise also, so that we found out that they to have for the time being, we know that it's a challenge, and that it takes time for the existing staff to deliver the training, but also, as you said, it's not their primary expertise also, so that we found out that they need to have their capacity strengthened to be able to train. I mean, they're not trainers at first place, so they know about money, and also probably they need financial education themselves. That's what one of the outcomes of the training of trainers that we organized. At the end, they all said that they really wanted to have themselves the training. So we know it's challenging. We are trying to see if the options we are testing can work, but we understand that it's a challenge for the MFIs.
Okay, thank you for sharing the concerns. Those are issues which we also are facing. First of all, about relate the first question, that is training. In-house currently, because since this program was initiated earlier this year, the financial literacy program, we are currently managing it within our staff. The SHG Federation manager is the coordinating person who manages the entire program. She, along with our financial persons who are in the finance department, they actually give this program. Based on their feedback, we have come to this stage. And further on, as you said, the TOT is not very, TOT maybe trainers are not present currently in India. We are relying on the materials that we have from ISMW, which is made along with Citi. So training is still, as I said, we have just got funds from NABARD. but the resource person is still a problem, and that is why we are coming out with a family handbook, so that the family themselves can, plan it, have flow charts, have some tables, and that is where we want to orient them, and so that they use it in their monthly planning. Related to the problem of illiteracy, yes, that is why we are dealing with clients, or introducing to this program to clients who are been with us for at least 3 to 4 years and who have been involved in the cycle for quite a long time, and they understand how the basics of how to manage the finances. So it will be much more easier to deal with them. As I said, once they are completely financially literate, it's much more easier to introduce them to the banking system also. So it's mostly the term, association of the clients with ESAF, that will be much better. And marketing this program, since it's very new for us, we are also trying to see for any partnerships or collaborations where they would like to see how this program would take ahead and what are the impacts. Those were some of the small impacts that we could notice. But what are the impacts of such a program? Maybe we can see in some time ahead.
Okay. Sven, okay.
Okay, I want to share some experience in Vietnam also on some the question in response to the question, because we Vietnam Bank for Social Policy have launching the new saving programs and very successful in first step. And in saving service is costly to the bank, and also to more time for the field worker. And so the key success factor of our program is that first we set up the encouraging system for the whole system, because the top management sometimes want to put saving service, but the local people do not want. So we encourage them to have a more saving products and more saving volume. They will have some incentive system. And then we also train the customer, but it doesn't work, because the customer, they are reluctant to come to the training course, because it costs their time. And if they come, we have to pay for them. So we train our credit officer, and also the credit officer will train the head of the group. And the head of the group will educate their group member, not in the official basis. They can talk to them anytime, and they meet them, and they collect money, and they ask them for the loan payment, for example, or for the new loan, they can train them. And people, the poor, normally they are low education level, so they can learn a little bit by bit. They cannot learn for the whole day, but 30 minutes is enough for them. So, and then we do like that. So we, in 2009, we started from 2009, but the whole year we cannot, very little amount of savings. But from 2010, beginning of 2010, we changed our system, changed our method to train to the credit officer, and then train to the head of the group. So it's booming in the saving service. Now we can, in Vietnam, in the Bank for Social Policy, we have around 20 million US dollar in saving with 2 million customers from the beginning of the year. That trained the method.
Thank you very much for your feedback. You bring up a good point about the challenges of engaging adult clients. It can be much harder than youth, I think, as Mary Ellen pointed out. Sorry, the gentleman from Korea here, I know he had his hand up.
First of all, thank you all your panels' precise explanation about financial literacy and responsibility. My name is Jo-Eun Han from Korea Microcredit Joyful Union in South Korea. My question is about how we can get an educated, responsible lender in South Korean context. In Korea government made a small microcredit bank whose amount of funding is $1.6 billion during the 10 years. So The source of fund is came from private sector, like his private banks and security company.